Hi there, welcome to today's painting tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how you can paint a portrait of Santa Claus with acrylic paints. So let's get started. I'm going to start with a really small size 0 round brush. And let's put in some black for the eyes. I'm going to put a bit of a pupil in the center. And then I'm going to come around for that eyelash at the bottom and at the top. And then I'm going to take this black paint and put some in the nostril. Then we can come around the nostril slightly. I'm going to pick up some of this gray paint and start putting in the gray around the pupil. And then a small amount of white, and then put that in the center. I want it to mix with the gray because the white of the eyes are actually gray rather than white. Let's bring some along the front. Okay, so I think that looks good for the eye. You could add some color into it if you wanted to. Be some blue. Some of this light blue. And then I think I'll make that pupil a little bit darker. Now I have another size 0 round brush. It's just a little bit bigger. I'm going to take some of this dark brown and then put it along the top of the eyelid. And then come around this section here. While that's still wet, I'm going to use some beige. And then add the top of the eyelid with this lighter color. That's going to come forward in space. And then I'm going to put it underneath the eye as well. Okay, and for the eyebrow, we can put some of this dark brown color. And then I'm going to go to the nose section. So I'm going to go around the nose with some of this brown. And then use some of the beige. Come around this section. And then I wanted to get a little reddish, so I'm going to add some red to this. And then bring the red down here. And then along this section. And then let's take this lighter beige color and start feathering that in. Okay, we're probably getting... I want to get a little bit darker, so I'm going to take some of the brown and we want to add a shadow here. Okay, and then I'm going to take the beige. Let's start putting more of that beige paint in to blend some of these values together. Okay, and I'm going to bring this down underneath the nose and around the top of that nostril. And then take some brown and bring that underneath here and around the nose. Okay, and then we have a cheek here. I'm going to use that brown color and then pick up some of the beige. Let's see if we can get a transition for the face. And then this lighter beige color can come next. And we could also add a bit of red in there because Santa has very jolly cheeks. I'm going to switch to a size 1 dome brush just so I can get a bit of a better blending here because the face is very blended. Remove some of that excess paint and see if we can just soften this skin and blend things a little better. Okay, and then we can do this section of the face. So we'll take some dark brown, come around here. Some of this is in shadow. And then we can grab that beige color and bring that down. And a little more beige. We're pretty light in these sections for the forehead, so I'll take that lighter beige, bring that in. Then we can bring that underneath the brow as well. And I'm thinking about where the highlights are of the face. Okay, and I'm going back and doing some more blending. Okay, you may have to wait and let some of that paint dry before you can add more layers. Okay, so I want a bit of an eyebrow on that other side. Let's take some dark brown and put a brow over there. And then I'm going to take this light beige and let's bring that along this nose section because I want that to be in front of the brow. Okay, and then I'm going to take some gray paint. I'm going to go over these brows with some gray. And then we can take some white and put some white in there as well. Maybe create a bit of a highlight. And some texture as well. Okay, so I'm going to put a bit of beige for the mouth. Just underneath the beard, we'll have some beige and a small amount of this red color, and that'll make a pink shade. Let's switch back to the 0 round brush. Take some of the dark brown and then put that in for the ear. You can also go underneath the ear and then grab some beige. And then grab some of the lighter beige color and then put that on the earlobe and along the top. Take a little more of this dark color, put it inside the inner ear. Okay, and if you wanted to add some pink in there and some red, you could just dab a small amount of red in there as well. Okay, and then with the round brush, you can take some of the brown, put that along the ear and along this section here. So you have some shadow for the skin, and then you can add some beige in there. Okay, so now we can start adding the hair features. So I'm going to take some of this gray and I'm going to start painting in the beard or the mustache section first. So you just want to use that dark gray color and then pick up some white and then just blend that white in there. A little bit more white. Okay, and now we can look at this beard, and you probably want to switch to a larger brush. I'm going to try this small dome brush And let's start putting in some dark shadows around the beard. I continue with this dark shadow along the bottom. And you could also add some beige if you wanted a variety of color. Also pick up some blue, and you could feather some blue in there as well. And then let's actually put some shadow up here. Maybe a little beige. And then we'll take the white and really feather that in and get some nice texture. Okay, I'm going to come on top of some of these shadows to get some nice wispy hair textures in there. Okay, so now let's look at this section here. And for that, we want to start with some shadow. So come along this section of the hat and put that in with some gray. And also add some right here along the bottom. Think about where the shadows are. And again, we can put some blue into there. And we can also add some of this beige. Let's put some over this section. Just have a nice variety of color. Some nice shadow. Okay, and then we can grab some white. And then put the white on top. And here you can be really loose and painterly with your brush strokes. You can have a lot of fun with the texture and continue to add layers. Get a really nice fur texture, nice dynamic brush strokes. And think about where your highlights are and where your lightest values are as well. So I'll take some gray, put that along the bottom, and then take some light blue, feather that in as well, and then take some of this red and create a little red reflection. And then pick up the white and put that white in there. Nice texture brush strokes. Maybe come back with some more blue and some more white. You might have to let it dry. Okay, and then we can do this section here. So I'm going to take some gray and put that in for the collar. And then we'll take some white, put the white on top. And you could use another brush. If you had a flat brush, that would work as well. So it's just fun to get some nice textures. And now let's work on some of the red. So I tried to rinse the white out of this brush so that we can have some dark values. We can take the black and some of this dark brown, and we can put a shadow here for the collar. And then pick up some red and then bring that red in really nice and intense. And then you could have some red, straight red in the center, maybe with a small amount of white to create a highlight. Then we'll do that same thing for the hat. So I'll take that dark value and I want to come down this way. And then underneath here, and maybe some over in this section, all the way up here. You can sort of see from the sketch where this dark value should go. And then pick up the red and start putting the red in. Nice transition. Bring that up here. We can bring it down this way. Then I'm going to rinse off that brush. And then I'm going to pick up some straight red, nice and pure, and bring that in. Nice bright red paint. Okay, I might bring some red down here so that it matches just a little better. And then we can bring some along this section. And continue that there. Okay, if you wanted more shadow, you can come back and add some more dark brown. You might even need another layer. Some of this can get a bit streaky with the acrylics. Okay, so now I'm going to come back and do another layer for the face. Let's take some of the dark brown, put in those shadows. And then pick up that lighter beige color. Start feathering that in. Come around the nostril. And then use this lighter beige color. And bring that in as well. See if we can get things to blend nicely. Can take that lighter beige and create a highlight here. So we can get the chubby cheeks and add some of the red to get the nice red in there as well. And in the nose, you could add some more red. Okay, I'm going to take my 0 round brush and let's work on the eye. I'm going to take some beige color, go along the bottom of the eye. Just want to refine that a bit. And then we can take some white paint and add a small highlight above the eyelash and into the eye. Okay, I'm going to take my 1 dome brush and some of this lighter beige color. I'm going to continue to refine the face. See if we can get a smoother look. Maybe put some highlights in the face. Okay, so we're going to call this demonstration complete. That is how you can paint a Santa with acrylic paints. I hope you give this a try. Like and subscribe for more painting tutorials. If you want to go deeper into painting with me, grab my free guide in the description below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!